Packing for a dive trip can be rather challenging, especially if you like underwater videography and are trying to pack all the gear that you might possibly need to capture your underwater adventures. If you want to know how I pack all my before a dive trip, stick around and I'll share with you my way of doing this. Spoiler alert, it's very easy. In today's video, I want to share with you a packing list that I have created not too long ago. Up until recently, when packing for an upcoming dive trip, that was very stressful for me. Mainly because I wanted or needed to bring a ton of gear with me on these trips, and I was afraid that I was gonna be forgetting something, like for example, the charger for the batteries of my red Komodo. And that this could cause some problems on the trip, or maybe even make it impossible for me to use a certain piece of equipment that I had brought with me all the way to the destination. And when you look at the sheer amount of gear that I'm usually bringing on these trips, you can probably imagine how easily a small but important piece of equipment can be forgotten. So at the end of last year, I took some time to create a packing list specifically for underwater image makers. This list is obviously focused on camera gear, but also includes dive gear and any other things that I usually carry with me when going on these trips. Using this list makes packing for such a trip a breeze. I don't spend hours thinking about whether I have thought of everything or I might have forgotten something important. On the contrary, I only have to think of what I need once and then I can reuse the list time after time. I can go through all the points and tick them off as I put everything here on the table in front of me. Once I've ticked everything off the list, I know that everything that needs to be packed is on this table here, and I can then start with the packing process and put it all into the individual bags. Happy times! And I'm very happy to share this list with all of you out there, guys, in case you want to make your dive trip preparation so much easier on the next upcoming trip. There's going to be a link down in the video description below where you can download this list. There's going to be two versions of it. One is going to be a PDF version and there's also going to be a Word document version of this list, which is going to give you the chance to fine-tune that list to your specific needs. But this is not all. I've got 3 extra tips for you that I do every single time before I leave for a dive trip. Before we have a look at those 3 extra tips, let's take a moment and thank our video sponsor of today's video. If you're not a big fan of carrying tons of camera gear with you in order to capture your underwater adventures in the best possible way, you should look into the Divevolk system. Divevolk, with their unique C-Touch 4 Max underwater smartphone housing, have enabled smartphones to act as high-quality photo and video cameras underwater. Not only can you use your smartphone's touchscreen underwater through the unique membrane of the housing, but with all the accessories available, you can capture mind-blowing photos and videos using a modern smartphone together with the Divevolk C-Touch 4 Max. Thank you Divevolk for sponsoring this video and offering our viewers an extra 6% discount on their next purchase in the Divevolk webshop by using the code Matthias Lebo at checkout. So let's get back to those 3 extra tips I've got for you. First, make sure that all your cameras are running the latest firmware versions. Make sure that you update to the latest firmware versions before your departure at home, so you don't have to rely on a maybe crappy internet connection at your dive destination. Second, make sure that you charge all your batteries before departing. This way you can use all your devices right away when you get to your dive location and don't have to wait for that one specific battery to finish charging before you can hop into the water. It's always that one battery that you need that isn't sufficiently charged. It's simply Murphy's Law. And third and last, especially if you're bringing with you a lot of camera gear, make sure to have the sales receipts of the camera gear on your phone or somewhere in a cloud so you can access it from everywhere. Certain countries might get suspicious if you bring in a lot of gear into their country and they might ask for sales receipts. If you can't provide those, they will assume that you're bringing the gear into the country to sell it there, and they might charge you with an import tax, which can get very, very painful. And that's all I've got for you today. I hope this video was useful to you and you got something out of it. And if that's the case, please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content related to underwater image making. Until next time, guys, have a great week. Don't forget to keep capturing all your amazing underwater adventures, and I will see you in the next video.